Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm Melissa, and this is Susie. And we are filming today from a different location in our home. We are in my bedroom. And the reason we're in my bedroom is my husband's actually working from home today, so he is downstairs, and I wanted to be a little bit quieter for this video. So this video is all about Susie. Hey, I thought we should do a video about her. So it's kind of a video about Susie and pet insurance. Now, Susie is a rescue puppy. She is approximately 8 years old. We're not really sure because we don't know much about her background. She's actually from California. And we brought her all the way to Saskatchewan, which I'm really sorry about because she absolutely hates the winter. She cannot handle it. As you can see, because the way I'm holding her, she has no hair on her belly at all. It's very fine peach fuzz, and she's a short hair Chihuahua cross, from what we can tell. They say she's crossed with something because she's a little bit bigger than most Chihuahuas. She is anywhere between 11 and 13 pounds, depending on the time of year. And we adopted her through a dog rescue. Um, we did. Yes, we did. I absolutely love her. Her tongue is so cute. Yeah, it's all about you. Yeah. So, there's quite a few different dog rescues where we're from, and I'm sure wherever you are, you guys have quite a few as well. I know, it's okay. I know, just curl up. So I know, we had my husband and I. Susie is the first animal we've ever had together. Before my husband and I met, I grew up with dogs. I had guinea pigs. As a kid, I had, dogs, turtles, hamsters, gerbils, fish, that kind of thing. And then as I was out on my own, I had guinea pigs on my own. And for me, this is probably going to be an emotional video. Sorry about that. But I get very attached to animals. They are my family. They are, they mean a lot to me. And when I had my guinea pigs, it was actually a boyfriend I was with at the time. Um, he brought a guinea pig home. And I was like, what is this? And he brought one home, and he's like, maybe we should get another one. So we actually got another one from the same litter, and we had two guinea pigs. And when him and I broke up, I kept the guinea pigs because I took better care of them, the whole thing. And I never had pet insurance. Like growing up when we had animals and stuff, my mom, my dad, they never had pet insurance for our pets. And it wasn't until I had my guinea pigs that I was like, pet insurance might be a good idea. But I never did get pet insurance with them. And my guinea pigs, like I said, when I have an animal, I get very attached to it, and I do everything I can for it and for its health. And my guinea pigs, I took them to the vet regularly. They went, once a year for a checkup. They went every 6 months for a dental checkup. And like all animals and all pets, the older they get, they usually they get sick. And that was no different with my guinea pigs. And they got sick, and if anyone out there has had an animal, they know that vets are not cheap, and you don't usually get a lot of warning when your animal gets sick. And a lot of times you take them to the vet, and they're like, okay, this is what's wrong, this is how much it's going to cost, and the cost is a lot. And for me at the time, I didn't make a lot of money, But I did what I had to do to take care of my animals. And after both of my guinea pigs had passed away, I had a really, really hard time with it. It took me a long time to get over the loss of my guinea pigs. And I know some of you watching this video probably feel differently about animals, about pets. And you're like, they're guinea pigs. Like, go get another one. That's not me. If that's you, good for you. That's not me. When my animals pass away, it takes me a long, long time to get over it. And I grieve, just like they were, a close friend or a family member. And it took me a long time. And when my guinea pigs passed, when they passed, I was with my husband at the time. We were, I don't know, I think it was before we got married. And he knows how hard it was on me. And I was like, that's it. I can't do it anymore. I can't have any more pets. I can't go through the heartbreak when they get sick and when they pass away. It was really hard for me. Sorry, I'm getting so emotional. You'll understand in a little bit. Um, so anyway, it had been quite a few years since my guinea pigs had passed. We had gotten married. Lots of stuff. I know. And my husband, he had a dog when him and his wife separated and divorced, and unfortunately, she got to keep the dog in the divorce, which I know was really hard on my husband. And years had gone by, and we started talking about maybe we should get another dog. And I was kind of coming around. I was kind of, it had been years, and I was kind of over my grief. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's start looking for a dog. And my husband, he always had big dogs. He had a collie, was the last dog that he had, and I had had both big dogs and small dogs growing up. And we had been looking, and my husband wanted a big dog. He was very clear, like, I want a big dog. I was like, okay, it doesn't really matter to me. And we started looking at rescue groups and SPCA. And we actually found one at the SPCA, and she was great. I can't remember what breed she was. She was a big dog. I think she was mixed. Like German Shepherd comes to mind, but I know she wasn't full German Shepherd, but that size of dog, that kind of dog. And her name was Kalua, and we absolutely fell in love with her, and everything was in place. We were going to adopt Kalua. And we had gone out and we had bought a dog bed and dog dishes and leashes and like everything we needed for her. And we had filled out all the application, and everything was approved and everything was good. And I went there to pick her up. I had the leash. I was ready to pick her up. That's what I was there to do. And I walk in to pick her up, and they said, I'm sorry, we can't adopt her to you. I'm sorry. What? And apparently, she was a surrender. Her family had surrendered her to the SPCA for whatever reason. And I guess a family friend, a friend of the family that had surrendered Kalua, had stepped forward and said, I will take her. So even though we had an application, even though our application was approved, all of that, I guess they decided, sorry, we're going to let the family friend take her. And they hadn't called me, and it was just... So I walked out of there heartbroken because I thought she was our dog, and we had bought everything for her, and he tired, and I thought that was it. And oh baby, and that was it. So I told my husband what happened. He was upset. I was upset. It was not great. Um, so it took us a bit to go over that. And we kept looking through rescue groups, looking online through Pet Finder. We found another little dog. It was a boy. I can't remember what breed he was, but he was small, and he was in. They found him in a really bad state. Uh, Apparently, the family had left him outside in the winter time, and he was literally frozen to the ground. And it was just a horrible story. And my heart went out to him, and I was like, maybe that's our dog. Maybe we should get him. So again, put in an application, and there were already dozens of applications in on him. Dozens. Dozens. And it was like, okay, well, chances are we're not getting him either. So then at that point, I was done. I was like, you know what? I mean, I think things happen for a reason. I'm a very firm believer in that. Things happen for a reason. Okay, she's gonna jump off my lap now. Let me just reposition you guys. So, she may start barking because she likes to look outside the window, but she doesn't like people. So, anyway, Susie, do you want to come back and see Mama? Hey, you want to come back? Come here. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna move her bed. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna move her bed beside me, and maybe she'll curl up here in her bed. Come here, Susie's. Here we go. Anyway, yeah, there we go. I'll get her in the frame here if I can. Yeah, go in your bed. You can jump in your bed. Come on, jump in your bed. Here you go. Come on in. Here. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay, get her in her bed. So anyway, I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. I'm gonna see the Suzie here. There she is. There's a Suzie. There's a Suzie. And I was just done. And sorry guys, I'm kind of off bad angle, but that's fine. And I was done. And I don't even know how much time had gone by. And then it was like, oh, there's a big dog rescue, like all different dog rescues. I think there was maybe 5 or 6 different organizations that rescued dogs, and they were having a huge adoption event. And it was actually at one of the senior citizens' homes here called Sherbrooke Community. And they had rented out like the big meeting room, and all these different dog rescues were bringing all their adoptable dogs. And you could go and see, dozens of dogs all at the same time, like in person. And I was still kind of upset over losing Kahlua and the other one, and I wasn't really into it anymore. I'm just like, you know what? My husband wanted to go, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. If you want to go, let's go. And don't forget, he wanted a big dog, right? Like big dog, big German Shepherd Collie, big dog. And as you can see by little Suzie here, she's a little puppy, isn't she? Yeah. So we went, and first of all, if you've never been to a adoption event with dog rescues take in all different kinds of dogs from all different kinds of backgrounds. But usually it's exactly what they say. They're rescuing these dogs. So a lot of times that means they come from really horrible backgrounds, and horrible things have happened to them and all that kind of thing. And it was so heartbreaking to walk in. I remember we walked in, and there was a German Shepherd. And this was like a big meeting hall, but it was in a senior home. So there was like lots of chairs and tables and end tables and that kind of stuff like around the outskirts of it. And there was this poor German Shepherd. I don't know how old it was. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but it was so scared. It was trying to curl up underneath an end table. It was just terrified. And it was just like my heart just broke. Like I just felt so bad for that dog. And there was lots of like there were lots of puppies, and of course everyone always loves looking at the puppies, right? Like the first place people go is all the puppies, right? Which is fine. They're cute. I get it. We didn't necessarily want a puppy. Um, we just wanted we just wanted to rescue a dog. You know, we just wanted to find a dog that needed a home and that we could provide it with. So anyway, so we were walking around and we're looking at dogs and we're looking at all these dogs and we didn't really see anything. Like there were lots of dogs that had a lot of attention, a lot of people around them. And we're just kind of walking around and it was like, oh, let's go over to this one, let's go over to that one. But there were so many people around the dog. We were like, well, let's not go over there right now because there's a lot of people there and it's got to be hard on the dogs as it is having this many people around them, you know? So we didn't really want to stress any dogs out. We didn't want to do anything. And Susie, hi, she was there and she was standing on the ground, leashed, with her foster mom. I should have brought Kleenex. And there was no one around her. There was nobody there. And I mean, she's a small dog. She is not what my husband wanted, like at all. And because all the other dogs had so many people around them, she was the only one that we saw that didn't have anybody with her. That didn't have anyone looking at her, playing with her, nothing. So my husband's like, well, let's go look at that one because it's alone. It's with its foster mom and there's nobody around it. Let's go check that one out. While the other ones are, while people leave the other ones, kind of thing, while we wait. So I was like, okay. So we went over and we started talking to the foster mom about Susie. And, she told us, oh, this is Susie. At the time, they said she's approximately 2 years old. And she's a rescue from California. And I was like, holy crap, California. Like, at the time, I didn't know that rescue groups here in Saskatoon make trips to the States to rescue dogs. But they said Susie was a stray in California. They said that she was caught and placed in a high kill shelter. So for those of you who don't know, I guess in the States, because we don't have those here where I'm from, but I guess in the States, there's so much uh, strays and overpopulation with dogs and cats that a lot of the shelters just cannot accommodate the amount of strays they get. And because of that, they have a very short adoption period. Like I don't know what it is, but I guess if the animal isn't adopted by this time, they are scheduled to be euthanized, which is horrible in my opinion. Absolutely horrible. But I understand, that they just can't keep up with how many strays there are. And that's why you should always get your pet spayed or neutered. Like, don't forget, this is a problem. So this dog rescue group here, they go down to California. I mean, before the pandemic, I guess they went on a regular basis to high kill shelters, and any animal that was scheduled to be euthanized, as long as there wasn't an underlying reason, like an underlying health condition that couldn't be treated, or aggression, or anything like that. If the sole purpose of them being euthanized was because they didn't have room for it, they would take it. They would take the animal and bring it back here and try to find a home for it. And that's what happened with Susie. There was quite a few Chihuahua crosses that they had brought back at the time, and Susie was one of them. And that's really all we knew about her. We didn't know her background. We didn't know anything. And we were just talking to her, and Susie was so quiet. Like she was just standing there. She didn't really seem too scared. She didn't really seem anything. She just seemed, I don't know, sad, I guess. That's probably a good word. She was sad, you know? So anyway, she was just standing there. She wasn't barking. She wasn't anything. Her tail wasn't wagging, but she didn't look scared. She just was standing there, kind of like, okay, here I am. I'm going to stand here, and then eventually we're going to go home, and that'll be it. And my husband, he was still talking with the foster mom, and I can't remember. I left for some reason. I wanted to go see another dog or something. I don't know. I guess in my head, my husband kept saying, I want a big dog, I want a big dog, I want a big dog. So Susie didn't even enter my mind of a possibility, I guess, is what it was. I was waiting for the big dogs because that's what my husband had wanted. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go over there for now. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to talk for a little longer. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I went to do whatever. And as I was coming back, at this point, my husband, I guess, had picked up Susie and he was holding her in his arms. So he had his arms crossed like this, like a baby, right? And he was just holding her. She was in there. And he was just talking with the foster mom and holding Susie. And I don't know what it was, but Susie must have felt extremely comfortable because she fell asleep. She fell asleep in Matthew's arms. And that was it for Matthew. He was like, okay. So I went over to him and he's walking around with her as she's sleeping. And he comes over to me and he goes, go put in an application. And I was like, I don't understand what you're saying because this is not a big dog. Like you wanted a big dog. And I'm like, for Susie? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, are you sure? Yep. And I'm like, okay. So they had a bunch of tables set up and I went over to the group and I said, is there any applications in on Suzie? Because like I said, we tried adopting a dog before and there were tons of applications and it was like, I don't want to go through that again, right? Like if there's even one application already in, there's pretty much no chance, right? There's not going to happen, no chance. So I walked over and I'm like, yeah, is there any application? And they're like, nope, no application. And I was like, okay, I'd like to put an application, please. And we put an application in for Suzie. And the hard part was, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But the rescues have plans in place. You put an application in, they go through it. You have to write references down. They check your references. They come and do a home visit to make sure your home is adequate and sufficient to properly take care of the animal. Like, this is all good stuff because you don't just want to give an animal to someone who's going to treat it bad or not have a space for it or, whatever it may be. So this was all good. But for us, it was so hard to leave her that day because it's like, we just want to take her home. We just want to take her home. So we left her with our application and we walked out of there. And I was still kind of guarded. I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up because I've already done that twice. I don't want to get my hopes up. And I still couldn't believe that my husband, who wanted this huge dog, picked an 11-pound Chihuahua. Like, okay. She's sleeping. She's so cute all the time. Sleeping. You go to sleep. So anyway, uh, got a phone call. Everything checked out. All the references checked out. They just wanted to do a home visit. And I've never been through this process before. So I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, our home it's a small house, but she's a small puppy, right? We had a fenced yard. That wasn't a big deal. But I was so worried. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know. So I scrubbed everything in everything was like spotless. Like the walls were clean. The floors were clean. I had all the dog stuff out. I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And my husband had to work that day. So it was just me. I was so nervous. And they came and they brought her and they let her like look around the house and she's going around the house and she's sniffing everything and that kind of stuff. And I thought that the person from the rescue would also go through the house and check everything out. And they did. They sat at the table and they were like, okay, well, we just need to fill out this paperwork. And like, that was it. And like, so I was so worried and so anxious for nothing really, because they had already decided that, hey, this is Susie's new home. And we are just so grateful that we got to bring her home. Sorry, guys. My intro video to this channel told you that we're going to be emotional times. This is one of those. This is an emotional time. So when we got Suzie, everything was great. She fit in right away. She was a great dog, no issues. Everything was fantastic. We took her to the vet for a checkup, just to make sure everything was good, the whole thing. Now, don't forget, the rescue had told us that she was approximately 1 to 2 years old, probably 2. That's what they said. And I understand we don't really know her background, so this is just a complete guess. We don't really know her birthday, which is kind of sad because we don't. But we took her to the vet, and the vet who checked her out was like, I think she's younger than they're telling you. And I was like, oh, Suzie, it's okay. I told you she'd bark. Susie's here. Let me move you over. Next, they want to see you, Suze. They want to see the puppy, hey? There. There's the puppy. There she is. I know. Anyway, they were like, well, she still has baby teeth. She still has puppy teeth, so we think she's about 6 months old. So to this day, we really don't know how old she is. She could be 8, she could be 6, we're not sure, but we're going on she's 8. So back to the pet insurance conversation that I had mentioned earlier. How many of you have pets? And out of you that have pets, how many of you have pet insurance? Because on Facebook, there's always people talking about pet insurance and is it good? Is it bad? Blah, blah, blah. And I am a huge supporter of pet insurance. I personally think if you have a pet, you should have pet insurance. It's the responsible thing to do. And a lot of people, well, I can't afford it. Again, I feel if you cannot afford pet insurance, you can't afford to have a pet. And everyone's different. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, if you're going to take on the responsibility of having an animal, I feel it's your job to properly take care of them, make sure they have everything they need. And that also means planning for the future. Because the inevitable is, as any animal, person, whatever, as you get older, things are going to happen. You could get sick. You could get a disease. You might need treatments. There's lots of things. So pet insurance is planning for the future. So my husband and I, when we got Suzie, like the day we got Suzie is the day we got pet insurance. And it was the best decision we've ever made. And the reason I say that is because if anything were to happen and the vet says to you, this is what's going on, it's going to cost, let's just say, $3,000. How many people have $3,000 just there with no purpose? How many people would say to the vet, okay, no problem, here's $3,000? I know we couldn't. I know it would be a, oh my God, where are we going to get 3,000? I guess we could take it from here, or we could do this, or we could do that. We didn't want that. We didn't want to ever have to be faced with the vet saying, this is how much it's going to cost, and us having that, how are we going to make that work? We wanted just to be able to focus on Suzie and not worry about the cost of anything that she may need. So pet insurance gives us that peace of mind that no matter what happens, no problem, do what we have to do. Whatever she needs, let's just do it because we have pet insurance. And a lot of people on Facebook will say pet insurance isn't worth it. Just put money away every month into an account. Just put money away every month into an account, and then when something happens, that money's there and you're fine. Now, I see where people are going with that. And yes, it's possible that might work. But here's the thing. You don't know what's going to happen to your pets. You don't know if they're ever going to get into an accident. You don't know if they're ever going to get diagnosed with cancer or a disease or need medication for the rest of their life. You don't know. Usually there's no warning with these things. And you don't know when it's going to happen. You know, you may be like, it's great if you have a very healthy pet, and from the day you get your pet, 6 years goes by with no issues, then yeah, that money you've been putting aside every month is probably to a good point where now if something did happen, you would have enough to cover it. But what if the week after you get your pet, they get hit by a car? They run out of the house and they get hit by a car. Now they need surgery, right? That money you've been putting aside every month, guess what? You haven't put anything aside yet because you just got your dog. So now what are you going to do? You have a $5,000 surgery bill because their leg is broken in 6 places. What are you going to do now? Right? That's where pet insurance comes in. It's the same as having car insurance. Why do you have car insurance? If I get into an accident, right? If something happens to my car, I have insurance. You don't know if something's going to happen to your car or not. But I would say 90% of people have car insurance, house insurance. You have house insurance in case there's a fire, a flood, whatever. You want to make sure that you have that insurance in case something happens. Pet insurance is no different. In case something happens, you have pet insurance. Now, again, completely up to you if you get pet insurance or not. I highly recommend it. The reason I highly recommend it is we never thought, and I mean, you never think that you're going to need it, right? But we got pet insurance the day we got Suzie. She's 8 now. We've had her for about 6 years. Well, she's going to be 9 this year. So we've had her for about 6.5 years, I guess. And we take her, she always goes for checkups, right? She always goes every year for a checkup. She goes every 6 months. Well, not every 6 months, I guess every year too. Dental checkup, all of her vaccinations. You know, she goes to the vet at least once, if not twice a year, just for routine appointments. And it was last June. She was having some issues. Never, it didn't last that long, so I didn't really think too much of it. Last August, she woke up in the middle of the night and she was having trouble breathing. Um, she kept, dry heaving, and she kept wanting to go outside and trying to eat grass. And I was like, okay, maybe her tummy is upset. But she was having a really hard time breathing. She had very a labored breath. I stayed up with her all night. And the next morning, as soon as the vet opened, I called them and I took her in for an emergency appointment. And they had determined that she was in heart failure. And that was in August. And that's not something you want to hear. So she was diagnosed with heart failure. And what that means is just what it sounds like. Her heart is failing. She's currently on 3 different medicines, special dog food for her heart. She gets medicine twice a day. And thankfully, the medicine is helping. She's not in pain, but her heart is failing. So we don't know how long we have with her. And that's really hard. But the nice thing is, we don't have to worry because the pet insurance covers 80% of her medication, her appointments, her treatments, whatever she needs, it's taken care of. So we just have to focus on her. We don't have to worry about anything else, which is nice. But she's very happy. We make sure that she gets lots of rides and lots of treats and lots of warm laundries because she loves it. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know how much longer she has. I've heard other people whose dog has also been diagnosed with heart failure. You know, from what I read on Google, it said average of 9 months from when you're diagnosed to the end. Some people have had their dog for up to 2 years after diagnosis. So you really don't know. So with her, we're kind of just taking it one day at a time, making sure every day is everything that it can be for her. Uh, because she's from California, like I said, she hates winters. She hates snow. She hates cold weather, but she loves the sunshine. And we're really hoping here that this summer we're going to be able to be outside with her every day. And she can just lay in the sun because that's her favorite thing to do. But we're pretty sure this is her last summer. So that's our emotional story today. Sorry for crying, you guys. But like I said, she's family. She was our baby before we had our daughter, and she means everything to us. And we're really gonna miss her when she goes. So, if any of you have animals that, hey baby, have heart failure or have another disease or disability that you're dealing with, let me know your story. Hi. Yeah, it was all about you today. Hey. But I mean, for the most part, every day is good for her. Sometimes she gets a little more tired. She can't play. I mean, she never played much, but she can't play as hard as, she used to. She gets tired quick. She coughs more than she used to. Her heart beats faster than it should, and it's very loud. You can hear her heart beating quite a bit. Um, but she is on medication and she takes it. She's such a champ. Like she takes her medicine no problem. She loves it. And we've never had an issue giving her pills. She takes it perfectly because she's just a perfect little puppy, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yeah, you are a perfect puppy. Yes. So that's Susie's story. And we're very thankful that she came to live with us and that she's here and she makes our days super bright and happy every day she's here because we absolutely love her, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes. So that's our sad story today. Um, Thanks for listening to it. Like I said, we're gonna go through a lot of emotions. This was just one of them. But pet insurance for us has been such a wonderful thing. And for anyone out there who is getting an animal or has an animal, please look into it. At least do some research. There's lots of different companies out there. They all have different types of coverage, different tiers of coverage, different premiums. Maybe you can only afford the first tier premium. In my opinion, having something is better than having nothing. And I pray to God that you never need to use it. But if you do, trust me, you will be glad you have it. So thanks for listening to our story today. Thanks for learning about Suzie. She absolutely loves being on camera, although it looks like it's nap time now. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I know this was a bit of an emotional, pulling at your heartstrings kind of video today, but it was important that we introduce Suzie to you because she likes to be in some of her videos here and there, and we wanted you to know her backstory and what she's currently going through and what we're going through, and we're doing it together. So, please subscribe if you haven't. Lots of different videos coming up. I really appreciate you guys stopping in, and I can't wait to come back and do another video with you guys. And I'm pretty sure Suzie will be right there with me. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.